Today we are going to talk about the Diamond Princess. Got a big update from her, which I really appreciate. We're going to talk about Norwegian's Pride of America. We've got a Let's Go family member who just barely disembarked from sailing on that ship. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about Norwegian because I think some things just need a little bit of clarification. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. As you can see, I'm back here at headquarters and it is really nice to be home again. It's always wonderful to go, but I'm always happy to come back again. And so first of all, let's talk about the Diamond Princess. We've got Let's Go family members who are on board, and I actually had the pleasure of meeting them on the Discovery Princess at the last week of October when they had that fabulous Love Boat cruise. They were on board as well, so it was really nice to get to hear from them. So they are on board, like I said, the Diamond Princess right now. They are on a sailing that goes, if you're not familiar, the Diamond Princess is sailing round trip out of San Diego right now. So they are headed on a cruise that leaves San Diego there and goes to Laredo, Mexico, La Paz, and down to Cabo San Lucas before heading back to San Diego again. Really good news, from when they arrived at the port until they were on the ship was only about 20 minutes. That is really exciting news. You might recall a few weeks ago we heard reports that they were having very delayed embarkation times there in the port of San Diego, and so it sounds like hopefully they have gotten those problems worked out. And one thing I wanted to point out to everyone, if you're not familiar with this, when these cruise lines come and they dock in a port and they're managing passengers getting off the ship and on the ship again, they do have workers there that they are contracted with that represent the cruise line and taking care of passengers. But also in association with that, you've got the port authorities and the port workers who take good care of a good portion of the experience there, as well as the customs and border control officials as well. So when something doesn't go perfectly smoothly, it's not just always the cruise line's fault, and it's not always just the port authorities' fault either. So I thought I would make sure that everybody was aware of that. So anyway, they embarked really quickly. Hopefully disembarkation will go very smoothly this week as well when they get back. There are 2,554 passengers on board, so she is sailing close to capacity. And out of those passengers, there are 71 children, and if you can believe it, there are 900 passengers who are brand new to sailing with Princess Cruise Line. So I am really excited for everyone that is new to Princess. Like, how exciting is that? And I really hope that everyone on board the Diamond Princess has a fabulous sailing. So I wanted to also let you know that these Let's Go family members did share that as far as dining goes, they are vegan. And he said that they let the head waiter know that they're vegan and that there weren't really a lot of things on the menu that they could eat. The head waiter said, no problem. The chef will make something special for you every evening. And he said that they have done a spectacular job of doing that. To me, that is really good news. When they were on the Discovery Princess, I know that clearly they were still vegan then, but they did not receive really good menu options then. And so to the point that, and I agreed with them that, do we need to try a different cruise line to be able to have good vegan options? So I was really, really happy to hear that things are looking up so much. Hopefully that is across the fleet. So often though, you know, we hear of like one dining experience on board one ship, and I think all the different cruise lines are the same. It depends on who the chef is. It depends on a whole lot of things. But I am really happy to hear that things are going so well on the Diamond Princess. The only thing that I would say is not optimal is he said that they are not having this problem, but he did hear some people saying that their toilets are not working. So I'm hoping that they get that worked out quickly. If you're sailing on the Diamond Princess and your toilet's not working, let us know what they're doing to take care of that problem. There have been issues with that going for a while now with water and several things. It seems like they're maybe all tied together, but I really look forward to hearing if they are getting that worked out. So other than that, splendid cruise going on the Diamond Princess right now. Now, I feel like it's really important to clarify a couple of things. I did my video the other day, and if you haven't seen it 2 days ago, you're really going to want to go back and see it. It is how Norwegian is keeping your money. And I did not make it up, and I was really, really sure about what's going on before I said something about it. In my video, I mentioned that I kind of wondered about it when we went on the Norwegian Encore in November, but I never like to throw rocks or say anything bad unless I am really sure of what's going on. So listen to that video if you haven't. It's really important. Part of that video, I talked about the line that they have during disembarkation, that if you have a credit balance, they tell you to go stand in that line to get your money back as cash. They don't mail you a check. They don't put it back on your credit card. That money, they intend to hand you the cash. Now, when Gordon and I were disembarking the Encore, he had to wait in line for like an hour. There were lots of people that didn't have an hour to spare, and so they didn't get their money back. And so I just wanted to say that that is still going on. I saw it. The other thing that I think is really important to say in conjunction with that is, you know, cruise lines have different kinds of onboard credit. Sometimes they give you onboard credit that is refundable, and that you will get back at the end of your cruise if you don't use it. But there are also kinds of onboard credit that are not refundable. So it's really important that you know the difference, and then make sure that you use up that non-refundable onboard credit while you are on board. Now, I have noticed, and I think hopefully this is the same across the board, the cruise lines will use up the non-refundable credit and then use your refundable credit after that, so that that money can get used up. I do want, so if you have non-refundable credit, you can use it for whatever you want to on this ship. You can use it for the spa, to buy things, whatever it is you want. And so that's a really important distinguishing factor. Make sure that you're clear on what you should be getting back and what you shouldn't. Along with that, I also talked about the fact that Norwegian, on this cruise that we were just on, we missed a port due to windy weather. And if you wanted your port fees back, you had to go ask for them. And then once they gave them back to you, they gave them back to you as non-refundable credit, which is not cool. I don't think it's quite honest, because you paid for that as part of what you paid to be on that cruise. So anyway, there have been several questions come up, and several people have said Princess doesn't do that. Doesn't give your port fees and taxes back if you miss a port. They do. And if you ever are on board a Princess cruise and you can't see it on your onboard credit, go ask them. Because every cruise that we have ever been on with Princess that we have missed a port, they always, without us asking, have given back our port fees and taxes, and it is always refundable. And another good example of refundable onboard credit is if you book excursions and you change your mind and they're going to refund you back, that money they add to your account as onboard credit, you can get that is also refundable onboard credit. Princess sends you a check at the end of the cruise. I know some people say they come like within a couple of weeks. Some people say they take 6 weeks to come. I've not heard anybody say that it has never come. If your check has never come, call Princess and talk to them about it, and make sure that you are clear that it is refundable credit, but also let them know that it didn't come, because I honestly don't think it's their intent to withhold it from you. Okay? So I just felt like I should be super clear about that and make sure that everybody knows about that. And now let's talk about Norwegian's Pride of America for a minute, which I think is really important to talk about. Norwegian's Pride of America is the only ship that is flagged in the United States of a big cruise line here. Of course, the like American cruise lines, those river boats, that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about like Princess, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity. They are all flagged in other countries. But with the Pride of America being in Hawaii, and she only sails around Hawaii, she doesn't come over to the mainland and pick up passengers. She just stays over there in the Hawaiian Islands and sails around. So if you want to go on the Pride of America, you either have to take another cruise to get there, or you fly in, go on a cruise, and fly out. So along with that, I think comes a very unique situation that is presented by a cruise ship that has been there, that's an older cruise ship, but that is only staying in that one location. We've got Let's Go family members who are just on board, and they love usually to travel on Princess, and so I think it's a really valuable, it's very valuable to have their input and what they thought of their experience, because then you can kind of decide. The really nice thing is if you have only a short vacation time, or you don't like sea days, and you want to sail around Hawaii, Pride of America is a wonderful opportunity, to be able to do that. So let's talk about it so that you can decide if you would like to do that sometime or not. So first of all, as I was talking, about being on the Norwegian breakaway and how our cabin steward there was always so busy, they were really kind to report that he was really on the job with them. He met them by the end of the first day. They were on a first name basis, kept their cabin spotless, and she was even very pleased that he also washed the glass out on their balcony because it had been really dirty. So by the third day, he cleaned that. She said he went above and beyond, but she does know that every day he had 30 cabins to clean. So that does keep them super busy. She did point out that Norwegian did just increase their gratuities a couple of months ago. So now they are $20 per day per person. And with that announcement, they did decrease. They don't do that second room service of the day. So to me, it is a little bit interesting to increase gratuities substantially and decrease your service. I don't know how that works. But anyway, she said he did a splendid job. Now, they did use the Norwegian Air, and here's a caveat again with using cruise line air. Well, it's really kind of hard because you know what? Sometimes weather plays a role in these things, especially in the winter time when you've got heavy snowstorms coming. And so be aware that when you book your air with Norwegian, and I mentioned this in my video yesterday about Princess Easy Air, I did mention this, so listen to that if you haven't heard it. But when you book with Norwegian, they book your flights for you. You don't choose the flights. You don't choose the airline. You don't choose anything about it other than they are going to book your flights. And so when they do that, once they book those, you are now working with the airline for anything that you want. And so if you miss your flight due to weather or the airlines cancels it, you call the airlines directly and work with them. So I feel like that's important. She said that while they were on board the ship, that there were several venues that were not even open at all. Some of the bars were not open, and the gelato bar was not open as well. They tried to make reservation for the Cagney Steakhouse before the cruise, and then once they got on board, and the normal dinner eating times were all filled up. The only thing was available was 9 p.m. at night. They were able to get reservations at the La Cucina restaurant on board. She said none of them were very impressed with it, and it was expensive. It was $79 each. That is something that you should be aware of. The specialty dining on Norwegian is a chunk more expensive than it is on Princess. With the price increase that we've seen at Princess lately, going from $29 a person for a dinner to $39 a person, when you compare it with Norwegian, that is a pretty good deal. It's not bad at all. When Gordon and I just ate at the Teppanyaki restaurant on the breakaway, that would be $59 a person. And then when we ate at Maderno's, which was like that Brazilian steakhouse kind of thing where they bring the meat around on the skewers and slice off some meat for you, that was $79 a person. It was in our package. But if you're paying for that separately, like if there's only 2 in your package, or you chose not to get that package, you're going to be paying a lot for it. So just want to make sure you know about that. She said that the buffet food was pretty good, although they did run out of the more popular dishes on occasion. She said the very first night on board, which it seems to be, the buffet was very busy, but after that it wasn't too bad at all. And so they always ate their breakfast at the Cadillac Diner, and the food was good, but the service was very slow. And she said the same thing happened in the main dining room, that the food was okay, but some nights you would have, great service, and other nights it would take forever to be able to get your food to eat the dinner. So, and that sounds like it's kind of across the board, doesn't it? Finally, she said that during the daytime and in the afternoon, they had a hard time finding a bar to order a Diet Coke. They just, if you just wanted a Coke, she said sometimes they would go order a Coke and wait and wait and wait and then just leave, and the bar wouldn't even be that busy. And so it sounds like, I don't know what's wrong, but I felt like it was important to mention that when we were on the just on the breakaway. Sometimes I feel like the bars had really good coverage with enough workers, and then a few times several times I saw that mix bar there between taste and savor, like have one bartender and like have passengers seated all the way around the bar waiting for their drink. And then I was happy when I saw that there were two, but often that bar didn't have enough people working there. And then finally, she said that the entertainment there was almost non-existent. She was really disappointed with it. She said they didn't have any of the big production shows. They did have an adults-only comedian for 2 nights, and then another singer that was also 2 nights in a row. And she said it just did not measure up to Princess or to anything else. And so it kind of sounds like, she said, and I agree with her, that they probably have a pretty captive audience there. It is the only ship that sails around the Hawaiian Islands, and they know it. And so they get enough business by people coming and having that less than stellar experience on board, and not having to even have so much entertainment, and not have to have all of the venues open, because there's no competition there. And you wonder why no competition has come over the years. I'm thinking the cruise lines just find enough business with people really loving those sea days. Like if I was choosing, I would definitely have the sea days. Sometimes though, people don't have time, right? It's so much easier to fly in, go on a 7-day cruise and go, or however many days, and then just go home again and use your vacation time that way. But clearly the other cruise lines are able to just take passengers, enjoy those beautiful sea days, and they feel like they've got enough demand for it that way. But I would really like to know what you think. Let me know what you think with Norwegian and the Pride of America. Let me know if you think it's a good idea, if you think it's a bad idea, and let me know why you think that everything was just not quite up to par on that sailing. And I'm going to put forward, she was very well balanced in what she told me about the cruise, and talking to her before, I know that they were going very excited about this cruise, so wanting to enjoy it. They had extended family there with them, and it was set out as a very like special experience that they highly anticipated, getting to be together and getting to see the Hawaiian Islands. And so she wasn't looking for the bad. I just feel like it's really important to say that, because so often we find what we're looking for, and I know her well enough to know she was looking for the good. So I really appreciate you all. I appreciate you being here with me. Tomorrow we are going to talk about where Gordon and I are going to go next, and some things we all need to do to get ready if we're going to go to Alaska this season. So I'll look forward to talking to you all then. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. If you have, we'd just love to have you with us. If you appreciate these updates, please give this video a thumbs up, and I will be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.